Welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. I am Caroline Chang, your host. The mission of Awake to Oneness Radio is to inspire the world to awaken to the universal truth of oneness. Science is now teaching us that all life is interconnected and interdependent. And spirituality and ancient wisdom has been teaching the truth of oneness for eons. So science is just now catching up. But what that means really is that we are all connected. We are all one. So what you do to another person, you're literally doing to another aspect of yourself. And when mankind awakens to the universal truth of oneness, there will be peace on earth. Today's show topic is self-empowerment with June Kortum. See, I don't know why I'm so bad with last name. June Kortum. June, I had the honor of meeting June in person this past September at the Afterlife Symposium in Arizona. And June is the executive director and founder of the Gathering Lighthouse near Chicago. So June, welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for having me. I'm really happy to be here with you today, just like we were back over in Arizona. We had a great conversation sitting at the table outside in that heat, right?
Yes, it was beautiful.
Yes, and we got to know each other a little bit. And
June's iPhone just, she's connecting with her iPhone, and we'll wait, she'll come back. We've been having a little bit of connection problem, and I just realized I don't have on my headset. I can hear her better. There she is, she's back with us. No problem.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, give it a second, because so I don't have your audio. Not hearing. Oh, wait a second. No, it's not you, it's me. Okay.
Do you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. It wasn't you. It was, I was just plugging in. After we lost you for a few seconds, I realized.
I had a phone call coming in. I didn't know how to stop that.
I see. Okay, that's right, because you're using your iPhone, and I don't have a smartphone, so I wouldn't even know how to tell you how to stop that. I'm a computer person. I have 3 computers that I work with, so that's why. The reason I don't, and my listeners, most of them know, my regular listeners know, I don't have a smartphone and do not want a smartphone, because I work on 3 computers at once, and I don't want my phone to be a computer. I want my phone to be just a phone. So, but okay, I see. But and it wasn't your fault. We had sound. I couldn't hear you because I hadn't put on my headset. Okay, all right, so we're all back. Okay, June, so I was saying, please let our audience know a little bit about you. I met you, I love you, but introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, everybody. So me, it's interesting. I am an older woman. I started the Gathering Lighthouse when I was 70. It's been there for about 5 years now, so I'm 75. And one of the things that Carolyn, what I really would want you to know is that this oneness thing is so important. I'm so glad that you're doing this kind of thing. I, as a young girl, grew up very, very, very poor, and was isolated from the community, of the larger community. So I didn't understand what it was like to have connection with a lot of outside people. You're black, I'm white. I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea. My parents were extremely prejudiced, and I didn't understand what that meant. I'm an Aquarian, astrologically. So I kind of wanted to know everybody, and I wanted to know everything, and I wasn't allowed to. So this here is so important that I'm able now to have a place where people come, they can be themselves, they can grow into whatever it is they want to be, and I can support them. And there's no prejudging. There's no, that, you know, they get to come in there and they get to say, well, this is who I am, this is what I believe. And I go, great, you know, what do you want to grow into? And we support all that for them. I'm just so happy that at these ages I get to do what I've always wanted to do all my life. I mean, I feel like a little kid, you know. This is one of the things about me. I'm a Gemini, so I'm always very thoughtful, and I love kids, and I'm youthful, and so you know, we just had our president pass, right? President Bush. He was a Gemini, and I think about him, and I think about, yeah, I understand that being 90 and still wanting to, you know, jump out of an airplane, or just being vivacious and being involved all the time, because it brings us such joy. And so you know, I came to this kind of a lifestyle. It took a lot of courage to get here, because my family was very, they were very tight. It was a very mesh family. You do for one another, no one else. And so I had to break out of all that. I had to break out into my own lifestyle. I had to break out into becoming who I was. And that's not always easy, just like you know, here you are doing this beautiful radio show. I'm sure it took great courage to step up and go, I'm that. Yes. I'm not just this, I'm that. Yes. And so lots of naysayers in my life, lots of people saying, who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? That self-empowerment thing that we're talking about, that is so important, because I now think to myself, no one's living my life but me. They don't have the right to tell me how to do it. I want to be in a community of people who support what I want to do. And it's so important to have that community around me. I didn't. So what did I do? I created it. And this is one of the things that I think a lot of people do in life, is they create these communities where they have an interest and they have ideas they want back and forth, and they provide a platform for those who are like them, and then they come. Yes. You know, we're in our 5th year there. Yes. We do support people a lot who have been shunned, who have been made fun of, who have been shamed because they have strong intuition and intuitive powers. And growing up, they have been told they were wrong. They didn't know what they were talking about. They weren't seeing what they were seeing. No, you're not talking to grandma. Grandma didn't show up in your bedroom. It was just a nightmare. But for them, the reality is it was happening. Yes. And so they were brought to doctors, and they were brought to psychiatrists, and they were put on medication. And I just had a young woman that came to one of our meetings, and all that happened to her. Now she's 27. She suffers from great anxiety, and we're a platform now for her to say, this is me. And we're sitting around in a circle going, yeah, we know this is us. You know, we all look alike here. Yes. This is our oneness showing up. And we want you to feel comfortable in your own skin and know you're no different than so many people out there who have not talked about their reality. Exactly. Because they're afraid. Yes. So this is what we're doing. This is what you're doing. You're creating that platform for people to come on, to have these conversations with one another. You know, when I met you out there in Arizona, just sitting at a table, you came and sat down with me. I had no idea who you were. And we started up this conversation, and the oneness was there immediately. Exactly. We are no different. Yes. We had this connection because we have that understanding. Why have those barriers between us? Exactly. Why not own our own truth and say, this is me? Why be afraid of being shamed and being punished and being set aside and ostracized? Because we are who we are. Exactly. It's not okay. And I provide that platform for people to own that truth about themselves. I wanted this for a long, long time. When I was in my early 20s and I started having children, a lot of my time, of course, was taken up by motherhood and raising these beautiful people. Yes. And my husband was not thinking like I was thinking. So we had a lot of tension,
Yes.
you know, in our relationship because of that. Yet I must tell you, we're still married. We've been married for almost 57 years. We understand one another. We have had to go through a whole lot of growth together. And every time that growth came, we
Yes.
blossomed bigger. And our children blossomed bigger. But we both decided we were in this for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And the long
Great.
haul meant I'm married to you, you're married to me. Either we do this or we split. And
Yes.
we stayed together because we wanted that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
You know, relationships take a lot of work.
Yes.
And at this age, he's 76, I'm 75. We're still together. He's still working. I'm still working because economically, what else are we going to? We have to, you know.
Right. Well, and
So
also you're doing what you love.
I'm doing what I love.
Yes.
I have worked all my life.
Yes.
I have been working ever since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
When you come from a family that doesn't have a lot, you have to provide, you have to help, you have to contribute. You just don't get to be a kid.
Right.
And so I think that's really important for people to understand. But I learned so much from that. I learned what it meant to put my feet out on the floor in the morning and get up and have a purpose.
Yes.
There was a reason that I did the things I did. It's not that I didn't have opportunity to play. I did.
Yes.
Yet the sanctity of the family was all important at that time. The fact that we were able to eat. We had a little garden. We had to have things out of the garden in the summertime. We raised chickens from little chicks so that we could have chicken to eat. We had a goat or a couple of goats, so we had goat milk. You know what I mean? We didn't have running water. We didn't have electricity. So we knew what it meant, the value of work and combined effort so that we could survive. It was important. And I learned that. And the same thing holds true today.
Yes.
It may not be those same things, yet it is about community. If I have someone coming in that is extremely intuitive and people have been laughing at them and ostracizing them, and they come to us in this emotional state of distress because nobody's listening, we get to support them. Because we're now a community and we understand the importance of working together like I did as a child so that we could survive and grow and prosper.
Well, I want to jump in because you said, so first of all, age, truly, I'm really doing this show. I'm learning the age is just a number. You look 40. Okay. And people tell me all the time, when I tell people I have a daughter that's 38, people tell me you can't have a daughter that's 38 because you don't even look 38. So I'm realizing people that are not just spiritual, but that are living their purpose like you are, and that are focusing on the bigger picture, which is spirituality, which encompasses the physical. Because spirituality, oneness, teaches me that the spiritual is not separate from what we call, quote unquote, the physical. The physical comes from the spiritual and goes back to the spiritual. So it's still all one. But when you focus on that bigger picture of spirituality and you follow your passion, it's like drinking from the fountain of youth. So age is but a number, because when you say you're 75, I'm like, where? But and I'm noticing that with many of my guests. And the other thing you mentioned about growing up, and I guess in terms, you were in a family that was prejudiced, but you didn't grow up to be prejudiced. That never resonated with you. So it's like, I'm sure when you were a child, you're like, that doesn't seem right. I know for me, I couldn't speak up as a child. I was brought up in a household that was very strict. And my father said, children are to be seen and not heard. So
I know that.
Yeah, so I was like, no, this doesn't seem right, but I can't speak up. But what I want you to share, because you've come, from an impoverished, prejudiced family, basically society, and but that you didn't take on those attributes. You didn't take on being prejudiced. You didn't take on, okay, I'm going to stay in impoverished situation. You self-empowered yourself, like we're talking about. So, and I loved what you said about people coming to the center who has seen grandma, and they saw grandma, because grandma is still with you. I don't care if she, I know my son is still with me. He's on,
Yes.
In spirit. I know I have his voice on tape. I have physical proof he's still with me. But so when a child sees grandma and has a conversation with grandma and then tells their parent about it, they're, like you said, they'll take them to doctors who are like, no, you didn't see what you saw. But that's society. And so kind of give me an example when someone comes to your center and they've had all these things, people saying, no, you didn't see what you saw, or no, you're crazy, or tell me, kind of take me, like, say I'm coming into your center, kind of take me step by step a little bit on how you guide them into self-empowerment.
Okay. First of all, the very first thing I talk about is shame.
Okay.
Brene Brown has written some wonderful books on shame and how to overcome it. This is what happens. These children grow up with shame around who they are. They want to please other people, so they shut all their intuitive abilities down so that they can belong, so they can please their parents and be part of the society in which they're living. And because they don't want to be different, the shaming causes them to feel unworthy of the love and the attention of others, so they try to fight that. And because they're feeling unworthy and frightened, they get angry. And we have a lot of people that end up being very angry and very anxious because they've been shamed into saying or thinking that they're not who they truly are. They do not own their truth. And it's because of others. So I always talk to them about that. I tell them that if you're going to be working with your intuitive stuff, your gifts, or whatever you want to call this, then we want everyone to be emotionally healthy and understand why you came here. What happened to you that you had to come outside your family to a different community to be who you truly are? And how can we support you now in feeling comfortable in being that, growing in that process, learning more about it, opening up more, having a safe container in which to do that, and then going out there if you choose, and letting others know who you are. And if you choose not to, that's fine. But it's a no shame zone. And they feel comfortable then to begin to slowly open up. We have groups of people that we work in. So it's a circle. There's always circles there of other people who came that same way, who now have grown into more who they are. And they are very, very supportive of newcomers. So, and they let them know that, just like today, I'm telling you my story.
Yes.
So everyone learns from someone's story. So this is what happens.
Yes.
I also have a packet of information that I give them that have different ideas, and there are all kinds of, there are books out there by many psychics talking about the how-tos.
Right.
So, and it's important for people to have how-tos.
Yes.
Yeah. We talk about symbology, what that might mean for them. We talk about the clairs, clairaudience, clairvoyance, all those. We talk about chakras. We run the gamut of things so that they get information that maybe they already read, and now we are just supporting that. Right. Or maybe they've never heard it before and they wondered what it was.
Right.
So they're always open to asking questions. And if you have that kind of a place for someone to come, who can freely open up, it's confidential. They're not allowed to interrupt one another. When someone's speaking, they have the floor. They are not allowed to talk to each other while someone else is speaking, so that person speaking has the respect and attention that they deserve. They are allowed to let others know what happened for them, speaking in the I. This is how I did it. This is what I did. How I felt, how I maneuvered through things. So they hear other people's experiences, which really supports them. I just, like I said, had someone come in who was really in dire straits about wanting to know what to do. And on the next day, I got a little message from them saying it was so important for me to hear that all these people are like me, that I'm not crazy.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And I want to jump into with that, with the like me, in the sense that the oneness, I understand. See, here's the thing about oneness. It's this and that, not this or that, meaning we are all unique. We all have a unique purpose here. We're all, and we have a unique reason why we came. We chose to come here. So that's, I think, is very important, that for me, I share. Like I said, and I say I share. This is, when I'm sharing my truth. What resonates is true for me. And if it doesn't resonate with as true for anyone, hey, that's fine. This, I'm just sharing with, and like you said, we bounce off one another and we learn from one another by sharing. And in my truth, when I share that, we are uniquely different and have something unique to bring. We don't have to be clones of one another, but we can share in love. So I talk about unity within diversity all the time, because I think that's very important for the truth of oneness, that doesn't matter, that even if we have opposing beliefs that are totally opposite, doesn't mean we can't love and share with one another. And so I love the fact that you guys come together and you share your stories. This is what worked for me, or this is my journey, this is how I got there. Because I've done 136 shows, and every guest I can identify with. Everything you're saying, as far as growing up feeling like I have to please others, growing up feeling like I was an outsider, like there was I used to think when I was very little that there was something wrong with me. Yeah. So I understand I identify exactly with what you're talking about. And then when we understand that we are unique and that we need to bring that uniqueness to the world, that's why we're here. That's why we came here. So it's important to understand that being unique is divine. It's exactly how you're supposed to be. You are whatever's in your heart. It's exactly what you're supposed to be. No matter what anyone else says, no matter what society says, no matter what mommy says, no matter what the church says, what you feel in your heart is who you are, and that's who you're supposed to bring. It's helpful, because I don't like to use the word suppose. You do whatever in your heart. You know, I don't like to use the must or shoulds or, you know, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat. But I find that, see that beautiful smile on your face when you're living your truth, you have so much joy, and life is not so burdensome. You know, it's not so you know that, hey, I'm doing what I came here to do. And that's just, to me, it's the most freeing and most empowering way to be in the world. No matter what anyone else says, and like you said, when I started this show, I lost friends. Yeah, I had some friends that were fundamental Christians, and they didn't like the fact that I was having mediums and channels on my show. Oh, now that I mentioned mediums and channels, that's another thing. I think I love the work. I've had some amazing mediums, amazing channels, amazing psychics on the show, and I love the work that they do. But I also love self-empowerment, meaning I don't want people that, we all have psychic abilities. Some just more are born with it naturally, and it comes easier. Just like I teach piano lessons. Some students just come in and they're able to play the piano out the womb. You know, that's just natural. But everybody can learn to play the piano. So the same thing psychically, and you can learn, we can all get in touch with our loved ones if we just quiet our minds and listen. So I like to say to people that the outer world, books, teachers, psychics, mediums, they can all help and inspire to point us to our truth, which is within us. Because that truth has to come, the awakening comes from within, not without. Others can. Books, psychics, teachers, all of them, they're great because they help point us to us, because the awakening kind of blossoms. Like I woke up to the truth of oneness from listening to a quantum physics film. Now, someone else can listen to that same quantum physics documentary, What the Bleep. Someone else can listen to that and say, what? You know?
Yeah, what the bleep?
Yeah, What the Bleep. That's the name. That was the name. It's really a great documentary about quantum physics. And
Right.
in that film, it was one sentence actually that woke me up. And Lynn McTaggart said the biggest problem in the world today is the illusion of separateness. That we're all one. There's no separation. Separation is an illusion. And that was, now someone else can watch that film and just not that may not be their awakening moment. We all awaken uniquely differently, but all of these things help to point us to our awakening, which is within.
Right.
Yes.
A couple of things that you said, I really enjoy hearing it because they're things I say.
Okay.
It's so interesting. Many times when I meet other people who do this work, we're all saying the same thing.
Exactly.
We live in different places, but we're saying the same thing. Speaking of books, we're having a book come out on the 15th. We're launching a book that we at the Gathering Lighthouse have made. Oh. And it's I know, this is really, I'm so excited about this because it's an anthology. It is people who come to the Gathering Lighthouse, yes, who have written their stories and put in this book. It's not about me.
Okay.
It's not about the Gathering Lighthouse. It's about owning our truth. That's the name of it, Owning Our Truth. Stories Our Souls. It's Stories Our Souls Came to Tell. And we're launching it on the 15th. And we have 34 authors, are people who come to the Gathering Lighthouse who have given us permission to put their works in a book. Everybody that worked on the book donated their time, their energy, their expertise. All the monies that come from the book, no one's taking a dime. It's all going to the Gathering Lighthouse so that it can survive and create this platform for more to come. Awesome. So it's the first of many anthologies, I'm sure, that we will be working on so that others who are, we're regular people. I go to the store just like everyone else. I'm not one of the psychics or mediums who are out there big lights on big stages. Right. I'm on the small stage. But every one of these people have come with their story. And I think to myself, here's the platform for them. It may not be out there in the big theaters, but they're regular people. They come from, they're your neighbors, they're your employees, they're your people who walk past you on the street who were never allowed to talk about their story, and they get to talk about it. I know.
Let me
I'm so excited.
And I can't wait. I definitely want to read that book. But here's the thing too. I hear what you're saying about the big stage and the small stage, because one of the things I love to stress on this show, and this is my truth, that we're all equal. Even there's some people there. I've had New York Times best-selling authors as guests on this show, and I've had people that nobody had ever heard of before. Yeah. And to me, each guest is equally, because just the society we're brought up in, you got this big stage and you got these people that is well known and has all, best-selling author, all that, which is great. But we all have a unique story to share with the world, that in each of us we're equally a shining light to the world.
Yes.
And so I love that the book that you're coming out with. I'm actually working on my first book because I've been asked to write a book, and I'm in the process of writing it. And hopefully it starts with my journey with my son, and then it goes into my awakening, which actually my awakening actually started a little bit before my son transitioned, but his transition kind of really shot me in orbit in the sense that it really pushed me to live my truth after my son transitioned. So that's what, so it's going to be kind of autobiographic, like an autobiography, but I'm working on that. But this is amazing, and I'd love to be in the next one that you come out with, because I'd love to come there. I've always wanted to go to the Chicago area.
Excuse me.
I would love to go to Chicago. I'd love to come. I'd love to just talk to to your members and just share my truth, share my story. That's all I do, and I'd love to have a little couple of pages in the next book that comes out. That would be great. Amazing.
Yes. Well, anyone who comes to the center, speaks there, whatever, anyone that has anything to do with the center I want them to speak in the books. I want the voices of the neighbors that live down your street to speak in the books. Yes. I want people to know that we are no different than you. We're out here in the community. We don't have leprosy, we're not doing anything to harm you. We're here to let you know that even though we may belong to your church, we go to your stores, we live the same kind of lives you do. We just happen to understand that there's more than less to what we're doing. People come from all walks of life to our community, all genders. We have psychiatrists that come there. We have neurosurgeon that comes there, neurologist that comes there. We have lawyer that has come there. We have people from everywhere. It is confidential, so no one would know who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're starting to look at this a little bit differently and saying, oh, it's all of us.
Yes.
We all do this, but we don't talk about it. And so this platform gives that person an opportunity to say, I'm your neighbor, and I'm not trying to get you to do anything. I just want you to know I'm this, and I'm a churchgoer, and I'm a doctor, and I'm a lawyer, and they're regular people. Our son is a doctor.
Okay.
He's 55. Okay. He doesn't live in my state yet. When he works with his patients, his intuitive self is constantly on, and he knows that.
Right.
The same with my daughters. They're in their 50s, and they both work at the center, and their intuition is always on. So we're constantly, day in and day out, working with intuitive stuff. So we don't want to own our truth, though, because we do belong to those churches. We do belong to that doctor society. They don't want to hear us. Yeah, so we don't tell them.
Exactly.
Slowly.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, I think, honestly, Caroline, they're going to start. It's going to be more of an open topic.
Yes.
And I hope that our book, Owning Our Truth, Stories Our Souls Came to Tell, is going to be that platform for this topic to come out.
Awesome.
Where you're not looking at just a person who has a big name saying, I'm this. No, we all are this.
Exactly.
Isn't that the greatest?
Exactly. It's wonderful. It's so beautiful, because that is so true. And like you said, it is actually, that's the reason I started this show, is because I wanted to have these conversations, and I can't just go into the grocery store and have this conversation with anybody.
I know.
So I listen. For me, I listen. So when I can share, I share. So I listen to see if the person is open. Like I said, there are some, and I even have this conversation with fun. I have nothing as far as religion. The thing about oneness, it's all inclusive of every religion. Every belief system, there is nothing outside of the oneness. It's all inclusive. That's what I love about it. Because when I first started this show, I was asked, what is this oneness? Is it a new religion? I'm like, no. It's not a religion. It's including all religions. So you have fundamental Christians that, kind of, it includes them. And I've had these conversations with many of them, and in a loving manner. That's the thing I love about it. Even though my, belief system doesn't incorporate theirs, I'm sorry, I think I said that backwards. My belief system incorporates every belief system, but
Right.
my belief system may not incorporate their belief system. Even though we can have opposing beliefs, we can still be loving and respectful of one another, because I see everyone as a divine spark of God. Everyone's a divine light, no matter what their belief. So when you see that other person as a divine and honor that person, whatever their belief is, it's all welcome. They're all welcome, and it's all love. And that's how we're going to get to world peace. So a lot of people don't think it's possible. It is possible, and it's possible in our lifetime. Once we all just say, yeah, it's okay that this person, it looks different. It's okay that this person has a different belief. It's okay, because we're all a part of God. We're all a part of all that is. My term for God is all that is. There's nothing excluded.
Right.
So and what you just said is wonderful for the community to come together, and it's like, okay, this is me. This is who I am, and I'm gonna shine my light to the world. And be me. That is awesome. I love what you're doing there. I wish you were closer.
I know.
Right here in the Poconos.
Right. But
So,
you know what? That's another interesting thing. One of the women that started with me a long time ago, she also has a group.
okay.
But she has it in her home.
Okay.
And so people come to her just like they come to me, doing
Yes.
this because have that same kind of openness and desire to have a space of safety for people to come and share who they are and grow whatever gifts they want to grow. If they, I've got people who come in there and they're becoming amazing mediums, or they're in there and they're becoming wonderful healers, or wherever they want to go. It doesn't really matter to me.
Wherever their heart leads them.
Yes,
where their heart leads them. Yeah.
What you were saying, I think it's really important, because you were talking about the oneness thing. And that we could all maybe have peace or whatever. I understand that. Yet I look at the people who are frightened. They've grown up with so much shame and fear and anger that if they can get out of that peace, then they can understand oneness. Right. If they cannot get out of that peace, that fear and anger piece, all they're going to do is blame others. Right. And so I have no control over that. It's okay with me. I want to work with people who want to change their lives for the better. I don't know.
I hear exactly what.
And so when we work on, when we work on our intuitive, when we work on that intuitive stuff at the center, we're also working on our emotional growth. And I tell them when they come in, we don't work on just one, we work on all of this. Yes. Because I do not believe that I can be a supportive kind of not therapist, but a supportive kind of intuitive person if I don't know me. Yeah. I have to know me, and I have to make peace with me, and I have to make peace with my past. And I have to realize that I have power within me. This is the self-empowerment part. Where if I believe that and I start owning my truth and they start owning their truth, then it is that we can go out into the world in a happy, joyful way and not be angry about stuff. So people gravitate to joyful people. Yes. They don't gravitate to those who are.
Yes. Now I want to, okay, you're absolutely right about the fear. I want you to think about I use this symbolism a lot. The yin and yang symbol. I know you know what that is. Yes. And now when you look at the yin and yang symbol, it's white and black, opposing sides, but no, and in a circle. And notice the white and the black are equal. They're exactly. Yeah, they're equal. So fear. I'm glad you brought up that because to me there are two emotions. We act from love or fear. Yeah, that's what we act from. We think from a human perspective, we think they're opposites. Yet love and fear, from my perspective, are the same energy. It's just that fear is lack or thinking, because in truth there is no lack of love, but fear is the thought or the belief that you're not loved, or you want to be loved. Yeah. Even though you are loved, the essence of who you are is love, but we came into this existence and we chose to forget that we are love. Okay, so fear is the thinking, and I use the word thinking, that we have the lack of love. And I say thinking because in truth, in universal truth, there is no lack of love. But in thinking, when you think, oh, I need to be loved, and I don't have love, and I need to get love, you get angry and fearful. That's where that comes from. But it's the same energy as the love, as the unconditional love. So they're not really separate. They're still the one. So I understand, like, when I come across a person that is full of fear and anger, my only response for me is to give them more love. Just to, doesn't mean, now I'm not saying now if there's someone out there listening to this and they're in an abusive relationship or something of that nature, I'm not saying anyone should keep themselves or put themselves in harm's way. Not that, I'm not saying that at all, because you can send love to a person at a distance. Sometimes you have to separate. If someone's being abusive and you need to separate, you can still send them love from a distance. You don't have to, be a punching bag for anybody. I would never say. So what I'm saying though, so when I encounter people that I see, I can tell by their words, by their actions, that they're just full of fear and blame. Like you said, when the person's full of fear and full of anger, they blame the world. It's everybody's fault. But part of my message is, none of us are victims. We are creators. We are all creating this reality. And when you own that, to me, it brings a sense of peace. Because if I created this, I can change it. I have the power to change what's happening because I created this. But a lot of people that feel like they're victims, they have this victim and they're angry and they're fearful, they're gonna lash out at who's ever around them. And the only so if you're awake and you know that who you are, you are a divine aspect of God, and you come across someone who's fearful and angry, and then you'll be, I guess you got a call. there you are.
I'm back.
Yes, the solution to that, for me, my solution is love. Unconditional love. And I find that, it takes two people to fight. So if someone's yelling and screaming and you don't yell and scream back, and you just kind of send them love, even sometimes you can send them love without saying a word, and they're not getting the reaction that they thought they were getting or trying to get. They just like, okay. If they continue to try to fight, they're only fighting with themselves. They're not fighting with you, So to me, it's easy to end every argument and every fight by just not engaging in that negative energy. To engage from a loving place. And it's not always easy. It definitely, I can tell you, it's not always easy. But to me, love, unconditional love, is the answer to every situation that we find ourselves in. So just to be present and respond in love the best that you can. And then, and many times you will have to separate yourself from that person, but still, so if you can remember to separate and remember to send them love as you're separating.
Right.
Yes.
You leave in love.
Yes. And let them know, I gotta go. I love you, but I gotta go. Right. Yes. And I wish you all the best, but I gotta go. Sometimes it has that. Yeah. Yes. So that
it's so nice to have conversation with someone on this level.
Yes.
Where you get it. And the other thing is that being able to be in the position that I am in.
Yes.
Just like you're a teacher. You're always teaching people, and so it's a wonderful place to be in, especially at my age. I love the people that come in and work so hard to change their lives and be who they are, and really step into their own empowerment. Excuse me. And one of the things is really about going inside to that inner child that was wounded. I love that little one, so that they can heal. And then as the adult, you're not blaming anybody else.
Right.
You're accepting the full responsibility for yourself, like you were saying. It's just amazing.
Yes. Now share with us some techniques so somebody watching this show right now might say, okay, share with us some practical techniques that a person that is feeling angry and fearful and blaming the world, share some techniques that they can.
One of the first things I would say to them is to realize when they're being shamed. And you said it earlier. You said, I don't like to use the word supposed to, or the word should. As soon as I hear those words, and I tell everyone, as soon as you hear those words, know someone is shaming you to control you. And if you hear them, you can become aware of what is happening in your environment. And that awareness, then you can decide for yourself, does this have any value for me or not?
Exactly.
So if I could just get people to see that, hear those words, should or supposed to, or given that look like, what's the matter with you? When you're being shamed. So become aware. Awareness is really a key here. Become aware of when people are shaming you.
Okay. When
they're shaming you, they are working at controlling you because they want something and you're not responding the way they want you to. So they're going to get you to respond that way. You don't have to be angry at them. Just be aware and then say to yourself, what is the value here in what they want? They're shaming me. I'm not going to buy into that. I'm aware of it now. Does it have value for me or not? And there is their self-empowerment. It's that simple, yet it has to be remembered and thought about as they're walking through their day.
Exactly.
Because they're being shamed. We shame each other constantly. We don't even know we're doing it. We do it constantly. A look, a word, a gesture. And yet, if we become aware, the awareness is so important here. If you become aware of what those shaming things are, you get to decide the value. Yes. And if there's no value, you get to walk away without connection.
Yes.
You just disconnect and go, it's okay. I'm not mad at that person.
Right.
They may not even know that they're shaming me.
Exactly.
Yet I know what's going on. It has no value to me. It's not about me. It's about them. I'm walking away.
Yes.
So that would be the if I could say anything to anyone today about self-empowerment, that would be the statement I would make today. It's very simple. I always watch also the words that I'm using. I don't try to do things. I do them.
Okay.
I'm not using the word but because it negates everything I say before it.
Yes.
The other word I don't use is maybe. It's either I will or I won't, not I can't. There's empowerment in the words that we use, and I really believe that if people were more aware, again, the biggest word is awareness. If they were more aware, they would really take hold of themselves and walk forward. The children inside of us, those are the ones that buy into the supposed tos and the shoulds and all that other stuff, because they're still alive and well living in us, and they still have all those issues.
Yes.
So I really work at them being aware of their child and being aware of the shame that's placed on them, because that brings them back down to child status. And when they feel as a child status, they feel unworthy of love, they feel fearful, angry, and then they blame others. So it's simple. It's a very simple concept, yet it's not always something easy to follow.
This is true. This is true.
I don't know how far we are into the show here.
No, we're fine. The great thing about it, it's my show. It's my show. We can go as long as we want.
My phone is going to run out. My phone's going to run out.
Oh, your phone is going to die.
Yeah. Go get something and plug it in.
Can you plug it in? Do that.
Yeah. Would you? If you let me leave for a second, I'll go get something.
Of course.
Okay, I'll be
okay, sure. Okay, no problem. Okay, while she's plugging in her phone, that's wonderful because we don't want her to lose connection. I'm going to touch upon and I'm going to share with her when she comes back. But while you're here, the audience, the awareness she spoke of is very important. And I find for me to keep in a state of awareness, here she comes. To stay in a state of awareness, I focus on staying in the now, and how I do that is sometimes just taking a deep breath, So I was just sharing. Great. I was sharing with the listeners while you were getting the plug to plug in that you were talking about awareness, and I was saying how important awareness is. And for me, what helps me to stay aware is staying in the now, the present. Because sometimes when we let that mind of ours go back to when we were 5 years old and being, scolded, for something we didn't do. Now, that has happened to me.
Right.
And my mind goes back to that. Or if I jump ahead in the future for thinking a disaster is going to happen that hasn't happened, but my mind is going there. So if I go past our future, I'm not in the now. That I lose that sense of awareness that you're talking about, because to me, for me, my truth is consciousness, that awareness, that a consciousness is here and now. That is your point of power. Yeah. So I take a few deep breaths. If something's happening that is like, okay, I got to take a few deep, like 3 deep breaths, step back before I respond, before I react, calm myself, center myself, and then come from a centered place of response to what is happening. So that is very true. That awareness is so key. And to me, awareness and consciousness is here and now, not in the past, not in the future. It's right here and now. One of my favorite books is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. But I just feel myself, I can have that sense of peace and centeredness here and now. And then from there, react and act from a place of peace. That's my tip for the listeners. Yes. But,
it sounds like you and I have been reading the same books or studying from drinking from the same well.
Yes,
it's really interesting.
That
a lot of the language
that fountain of youth.
The language that I use,
yes.
You're using. So
yes,
I want to say something about the being in the now, and the awareness and being in the now. It's very true. Yet, for me, I say, how do we even get to the awareness? We have to understand that it is the past, that is in our present, in the now, that is creating these issues for us. And so the awareness we have to bring to the fact that it is that littler person, the younger person who had been blamed for something they didn't do, and I had also. And so knowing that person, that little one, that energy, that past energy is pushed its way up into my awareness in the moment. And that's why I am reacting to what's happening. So, and the other word you used was respond. And I think respond is so important as opposed to reaction. So the reaction is that knee-jerk thing. All of a sudden, it's that little kid reacting to the parent, blaming them for something they didn't do. But if you become aware that that's who's doing it, then you respond, and it's different, and the power is in you.
Exactly.
It's so freeing and liberating to understand that.
This is so true.
you know, Caroline, people are out in the world. They don't know this. They're not told this.
Exactly.
If your program tells them, I tell them, others
Yes.
are, if they come to me and they learn it, they tell each other.
Yes.
And then others can't control them. They're like, nah, that doesn't bother me anymore. You can't shame me into doing what you want me to do. It doesn't work.
Exactly.
And they come back to me and they go, oh my gosh, June, you know, my life is so different. It's so exciting to be able to be who I am.
Exactly. This is so true. This is so true. And and when when a person chooses to respond instead of react, the whole outcome is different. It shifts.
Isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Everything shifts. So
everything.
Yes. So
we're the shifters.
Yes. Yes. And it's so true, like you said, we are living in an amazing time, because I do believe humanity is awakening one by one. Humanity is awakening to the truth of who we are, empowered beings of light, in eternal power beings of life, and creating these realities. And just as a way of soul growth, we create different realities. We choose different we choose our challenges, you know, in our soul plan. We choose to be born into a family with no money, or we choose to be born rich, you know, because sometimes even being born rich does not mean you have an easy life of it.
No.
By just watching the media, and I don't watch a lot of media, but just we know that money is not the solve every problem. There are so many people with money who commit suicide. You know, actors and well-known people, that famous people, that the money, the fame didn't bring them happiness. You know. So we know that, you know, money is a tool. For me, money is a tool. And for me, everything I do is from the heart. Like this show will always be just sharing from my heart. But for me, it's a tool that I can use to just, you know, I was about to say empower, but share more. For me, more
Get
about
your message.
Yes,
It supports you in getting your message out.
To reach more people. Exactly. Yes. That is what it will be, a tool to reach more. That's all. And because the more people we reach that hear this message, and if it resonates with them and they go within and come, you know, it transforms them, then it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yes.
'Cause one by one, we can transform the world to a place of peace and love, because that is what we came here to do. You know, that's our purpose, to just, you know, be loving and transform this world. Humanity is awakening, for sure.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And I had the honor of meeting one of your lovely daughters. And because you were saying you have two daughters that work with you, and I had the honor of meeting one of them. I forget her name because I'm bad with names. What was her name?
Her name is Margie.
Margie, yes. Say hey, Margie. Yeah. I'm sure she's going to see this. Hey, Margie. Yes.
And you also met Patty Horton, who is one of the women that come to the center. She's a medium, and she teaches at the center. She teaches different programs at the center. Her name's Patty Horton, and she would be someone to have on. She has a different little perspective than I do.
Okay.
And I tend to be a little more scientific about what I'm seeing and how I'm teaching. Patty Horton is a little more on the spiritual side. I'm not quite that way. So everybody that I know has a story, a beautiful story. And I think it's really important for them to be able to express themselves in that way. I have a lot of people that come to the center who are incredibly talented people. And it's nice because they share with everyone.
Yes.
They don't hold it close to their bodies and say, no, you can't have this.
Right.
It's not about it.
Well, when you're awake, like, you know that sharing is, because when you share with another, you're truly just sharing with another aspect of yourself. So you're not,
Exactly.
there's nothing wrong with sharing, because you know you're just giving to the one, the whole. And it's interesting you brought up the science versus spirituality, because for me, it was science that awoke me to the truth of oneness. Now, I've been studying spirituality, metaphysics, off and on for years, but there was a missing piece. There was still something, I'm like, you know, something was missing, until I watched What to Believe, and I was awakened to the truth of oneness, and that was science. So for me, science and spirituality, there's a bridge there, especially now. There's a bridge, and it's still, but I know that the science piece of it will help those skepticals, people that if I can't see it, you know, and it's already scientifically proven how limited our senses are. Our sight, our smell, our taste, everything about our physical body is extremely limited. Science,
isn't it?
Science has proven there's so much more out there that we can't see, hear, touch, or feel. But they know, they can sense it with equipment. It's out there, you know. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, but I love the fact that science has proven that. Yes. So
there are. You know, I think about the scientific stuff, and it's so exciting, because when you and I were at the symposium, and Sonia Rinaldi was there, with her, I was like a little kid in a candy store, seeing what she's doing. I mean, I love it.
Exactly.
And the group of 30 that were there, and their children showing up, and I was able to come home and talk about that to the people that come to the center and to my circles. And I was like, look at you guys. Now, I want to tell you, there was also a woman there, 2 women. They sat at our tables when we were doing banquet. And they said, you know what? We were in the hallway. There was a painting on one of the walls there. It's a mother and a daughter. They both had cell phones. They said, we took a picture of the painting. We liked it. But when we both looked at our cell phones, the painting was not there. What they actually had on their phones was a picture of the mother's son and the sister's brother who had passed.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
Showed up at the,
that is amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
so what we'll do, I can send it to you.
Okay.
I don't know if they want them on the big screen or not. I asked them to send them to me. I show the people at my center. I think I still have her name. Maybe you could get her name. Maybe you'd want to have her on to talk about what their experience was. I'll look back through my emails. And but the fact that she got to sit at our table, the fact that her and her daughter who came there just to see about what are people doing about life after death? Because here's this young man had died, and they wanted to contact him, and I'll be darned if he doesn't show up there.
Of course.
On their side. And you can see it. It's not as clear as what Sonia has on her computer, but you know it's him.
Yes.
Because they sent me a picture of him in life, and these 2 pictures off these separate phones.
Wow.
I was so excited to get it. And I show people all the time.
Now you should. Now, Sonia has been on my show since
I know.
Yes, and they should send it. You should have her also send it to Sonia. Yeah, I can give you Sonia's email. Sonia's in Brazil. Oh, you have it. Okay, well, I'll send it to you in case you don't have it, because that would be great for Sonia to see, and I would love to see it. And now, I think I said to you, now, I know my son is in spirit. He's been in spirit for 4 years, but I know he's right here with me. He told me he's very proud of the show, and he's my co-host. He's told me that, and I have his voice on tape from 2 years ago. Now, he's been in spirit 4 years, but I have his voice on tape from the spirit world, and it's clear as day. I can't make out what he's saying, but it's clear as day. It's his voice. So it's we know they're not gone. And like you said, yes, the scientific evidence, there's so much scientific evidence that our spirit, when we leave our body is temporary, like a car. I think of my body as a vehicle to get around in this reality, you know, but once it's gone, I'm still here. I'll still be here, you know. I'm not gone. Right. Just like you're not your car, you're not your body. You know, you are spirit, eternal, forever spirit. And we all are that. And there's so much scientific evidence to that. So people that say, they don't believe, I'm like, okay, well, I don't, you know what? If all this scientific evidence doesn't help you to at least open your mind up to the possibility, I don't know what. It's like, also, it's like looking at a starry sky at night and seeing all the planets, all the stars, the billions and billions, infinite number. To say that only this little planet Earth has life on it, when there's billions and trillions, I can't even say how many, if not infinite number of planets in star systems. Why would, that's just to me so kind of small-minded to think, oh yeah, just our planet has life on it. Yeah.
I love that you're saying that, because it's so true. And I saw recently an artifact that they had gotten. It's actually a skeleton of some kind of a mammal. And but they found it and they dated it to 237 million years ago.
Okay, wow.
Earth. So
yes.
Our Earth is how old? We don't know. But
right.
It's old. When you think about 237 million years old, and we think that we are something special. I mean, we're special. Yeah.
Right. You know, right.
We cannot be the only intelligence that is in this this one universe.
Yes.
I mean, they're saying there's probably more universes, and with this one universe are billions of galaxies with billions of stars and whatever. Okay, so that tiny little ant that lives outside of my house running around in my yard, that's kind of how I feel sometimes.
Oh yes.
One of those, you know?
Oh yes. And yes. Well, in truth though, it's like I said, with one that's, it's not this or that. We can think of ourselves as that tiny little ant compared to the vast universe, but also understand that tiny little ant is not its body. It is part of all that is. So it's not this or that. Right now, that tiny little ant is just in that little vehicle ant body, right? But in its essence, it's part of all that is. And it's a holographic part. Now, when I think of holographic, I always use Rumi's quote, "You're not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop." So we are each cells, holographic cells of God, of all that is. Meaning the whole universe is within you. The whole universe is within each of us. And so when you think of it's not a piece of God, you're all of God in a drop.
Yep.
That's what we are. We each are all of God in a drop. So in one aspect, we're just this tiny little thing, but in the another aspect, we're this tiny little thing that encompasses it all. That's how powerful we are.
Right.
Yes.
When you were little girl, did you think about these things?
Oh, interesting. When I was little, honestly, no, I honestly, from as early as I can remember, I thought, okay, I remember, because I went to Catholic school, and in Catholic school, they taught God does not make mistakes, right? And I thought, well, he made a mistake with me because I thought not that I was a mistake, I just did not belong here. That's what I thought from a very young age. I'm on the wrong planet. I mean, I do not belong here. And then I thought that all my whole family made me think that there was something wrong with me. Like, and I would say, well, what is wrong with me? You know? So that as a very young age, I said, okay, I don't belong here, God. You put me on the wrong planet, and what's wrong with me? You know? So from very young age, I felt like, what I was being taught just didn't resonate. And of course, at that age, I couldn't say, this doesn't resonate. With me. But I have to say, one of the things, even as a very young child, up in my early teens and in my teens and 20s, I got married at very young. At 17, I basically got married to run away from home. I married my first boyfriend just to run away. It was an escape. So we know that didn't work out. But I got 2 beautiful children out of it, so it all works out. But there was always something inside of me that said, I have to follow what's in my heart against all odds. So that I have to say that it's always been, and I'm 56, so I probably around the age of your daughter's age. How old are your daughters?
Right. She's 56.
Okay.
No, my son's 55. She's 54.
Okay. So I'm around their age. So
yeah,
you look like you're my age. So you're so young and vital. Yes, it's just, it feels good. And that's kind of the message I really want to share with our listeners. It truly does feel good when you're following what's in your heart against all odds, no matter what anybody says, no matter what society says. Well, if it feels right to you, when I say if it feels right to you in integrity, and I'm going to say integrity. Now, when I use the word integrity, I'm not talking moralistic. I'm talking integration, meaning when you know you are a part of the whole, and the whole is a part of you. Integration. When you know that everything you do affects everything, everyone, it affects the planet, it affects the universe. That's how important you are. When you understand your connection to all that is, and you are following your heart, knowing your connection to all that is. So what you do, it's not going to just affect you, it's going to affect the entire universe. When you do that, when you follow your heart with integrity. So when I say integrity, I'm not talking moralistic, the church and all of that. I'm talking about knowing your connection to all that is. Then that is when you will feel a sense of peace and that a sense of oneness. Yes.
Right.
So this is,
you know what, for your young age, you're very wise.
Oh,
this is what happened.
I'm a grandma.
I know, I'm a great grandma.
Okay.
I have 4 amazing great granddaughters.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Amazing. Look at this great grandma. Looks like she's no more than 40, at the most 35.
Okay. So I want to say something about you. I really enjoyed listening to what our conversation is really so amazing because you speak my story. I went to a Catholic school. I didn't belong there. I didn't understand. The things that I knew didn't connect with what they were teaching me. Yes. And so the word that I want to say is courage. It takes such great courage to step out of the life that was planned for us by our families and our heritage or whatever it was, and to be who we are and live our own truth. Own that, owning our truth. That owning our truth piece has, it gives power to others as they walk with us to own
Yes.
their truth. And
Exactly.
that in itself, it's something we teach, it's something we are.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
others get it.
Yes.
I don't care when people come to the center, Caroline. I don't care what religion they are.
Yes.
I don't care what their belief systems are. They can have all that.
Yes.
I tell them that I am not here to change any of that. I'm here to support you enhancing that.
Yes.
And looking more into the truth of who you are, and not being frightened to do that. If you have to change a belief because what you find now about yourself and your truth doesn't resonate with that belief system, then let it go.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know?
Exactly.
But that's their decision. That's the courage. That's what it takes. It takes immense courage to begin to question our own selves and go, is it my truth?
Right.
Or am I doing this because someone told me to do this?
Exactly.
What resonates with me? Am I going to give myself permission to step aside from all those people who don't believe this? It's hard for people. It's not an easy path. It wasn't for you.
Right.
It's not for me. Yet I don't care anymore. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Right.
I am what I am. I still have family members to this day who think I'm so far out there, they just don't want to have anything to do with me. That started when I was young, and I had to disassociate from a lot of my family members until they realized I was still in my right mind.
Yes, very much so.
I was enhancing all that stuff that I was given to become more of me, to own the truth of me. So therefore, that's why our book is called Owning Our Truth. And these are the stories our souls came to tell. We just have to find places that will listen, people that will listen and spread the news. It's great news. I think there was somewhere back there going, good news, something or other, So I think that's what this is. Your show is good news. And
yes. Now, please share with our listeners how they can find your website, how they can get a copy of the book when it comes out. Share all that good detail with our listeners. Go ahead.
All right. So we are at www.thegatheringlighthouse.org. You'll find us there. You'll find our calendar and all the things that we do there, because we run the Gathering Lighthouse Center, and almost every day there's something happening, some program, some teachers coming in to teach something different. They teach astrology, numerology, psychic abilities, mediumship abilities. They teach empowerment. They teach manifestation of whatever it is you want in your life. We have some great teachers that come there. And then we have presentations from speakers. Like you would come, you would be our speaker, and then you would say something about what you do. And so we have people like you that come there to the center. So that's what that's all about. We have a meetup. The meetup is the Gathering Lighthouse meetup. So if they go on meetup, they'll find us under the Gathering Lighthouse in Illinois. Let's see, what else do we have? We have our book coming out on the 15th. So we're launching it at the center. We'll be selling it there at the center.
Awesome.
And the 34 authors, most of them will be there to sign the book that day. I just think it's so exciting.
Awesome.
But it will be on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's called Owning Our Truth, Stories Our Souls Came to Tell. And it'll have my name on there, June Kortum.
Okay.
And that will be, you can find it on Amazon, but that'll be after the 15th, I'm sure. It is on there. Ebook is on there already.
Okay.
So if people do the ebooks, they can go on there and get the ebook. So that's out already.
Okay.
And the 15th is the physical launching. And also 15th, and I just want to share this before I go.
Of course.
The rest of the day, we start from 3:00, and then we run to 6 with the signing of the books and the launching. And then at 6:00, we're doing a Yule log party and a giving tree. So people get to pick a name off of the tree of someone in the community that has less, and they can take that home and get a gift for them. And we'll be sharing cake and sandwiches and you know,
Yes.
just community gathering,
Yes.
so that people can get to hang out and just kind of love on one another a little bit if they want.
Yes.
So, and we also, we do, people come to the Gathering Lighthouse, and we've got a box where they can drop off slightly used winter clothes for the less fortunate, or brand new socks. They have to be brand new, or underwear, brand new underwear. I mean, things that people really need this time of year, especially the homeless people out there on the streets.
Yes.
And so we participate as much as we can in the community. I want to give back.
Yes.
You know, for getting packages, you know, like food boxes from the church, because as a kid we didn't have it, and when a kid is without it, you know, it's really hard. So times where it was very sparse, there wasn't much there, and so to know that there are these children out there, you know, without coats and boots, it's hard. I don't so it's part of what we do. We like to give back.
Oh, definitely.
You know, to the community. So what's going on? The new year, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of stuff, but we do a vision board at the center.
I love vision boards.
Oh my God, it's so much fun. We set up all these tables, and we have live music. Some of our people, let me see, John and Karen, they have a band, not a band, but they do flute and all these different kinds of instruments. They come and play for us. And then we have Karen will talk about the astrology for the year, and then I talk about numerology for the year and their numbers for the year. So it's just a fun, you know, community fun, get together, have fun, and
it sounds amazing.
And I get all excited because I get to party and have fun.
Yes.
Like a little kid, you know?
It sounds amazing. And anybody that's in the, how far are you from Chicago? I know you're not right in Chicago.
Okay. So we are in Lombard, which is one of the suburbs of Chicago. People are very aware where Lombard is, the Chicago people. We have people from all over that come there. We're at 26 North Park Avenue in Lombard, and you can again get to the website. You'll see all the information there. We have people come out from Chicago to be with us. We have the train stop right about a block away from our building. Train from Chicago.
Very
good. If you live in Chicago and you want to get on the train and come out, it is so convenient. It's amazing. So
very good. Very good. Well,
I just love being with you. How come you don't live here, so we can go out to lunch?
Well, you know what? I definitely have 2019. We're right at the door of 2019, and at some point in the year of 2019, I have to figure out how to get to Chicago. I will be there. Definitely.
You do.
Definitely. We will.
There are other places you can also, you know, in Chicago, there's more than one place to go to talk to people. So, you know, we can talk about that, and I can give you other centers and that you can go to and just kind of spread the word of what you're doing. And, you know, everyone's doing a lot of good work. They're a little different than us, but they're doing good works too. So I want to share that.
Definitely. It's all about sharing the truth that we're all one in unconditional love. That's what it's about. Thank you so much, June. Thank you. This has been amazing. I just love it. Like it said, honestly, I do want to get to Chicago area. I say Chicago. It's easier than to say the name of your town. I want to get there this coming year. And you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
Yeah, you too. I have an empty bed in my house.
Okay.
So
same thing. Hey, same thing here. I have 2 guest rooms. So you come to the Poconos. I have 2 guest rooms. You're welcome anytime. All right.
You don't have to pay for a hotel. We all live on this slight budget, you know. So
yes.
All right. I love you. Thank you very much for having me on. You have a wonderful day.
You too, sweetie. We're gonna keep in touch.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye, sweetie. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.